What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with your host, Comp, and
Bristle Palin.
today's film is
Bad Milo, 2013.
Bad Milo, 2013, a film directed by Jacob Vaughn. Man learns that his unusual stomach pains are being caused by a demon living in his intestines. Written by Benjamin Hayes and Jacob Vaughn, starring Ken Marino, Gillian Jacobs, Patrick Warburton. So, Danny, why'd you pick this film?
I've always wanted to see a movie about a demon that lives in someone's butt.
You know, I like watching the trailer for it. I always felt like this would be your type of movie. I don't think I even saw the trailer. I was aware of the movie, and I kind of was like, oh, this sort of looks like an Adult Swim style film. And it really is an Adult Swim style film because it stars a guy from Adult Swim shows. And it's that sort of... I wouldn't say it's as really... compartmentalized as Adult Swim, because like Adult Swim has a certain series of television shows. Have you ever watched really Adult Swim television?
A little bit. I mean, I used to watch it back when it first started for a long time, but I kind of, I don't have cable anymore, so I just don't watch it.
You can probably find it online everywhere, but Adult Swim has a certain amount of shows that are on, sort of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force is probably its most famous television series that ever came out. I remember watching the movie for that in the theaters, and I fell asleep during it, even though
it's really not my thing. I've seen a lot of it. I don't know.
It's sort of like real hipster kind of stoner comedies, but really also like anti-humor. Like if you watched who are those two guys? Tim and Eric's Great Job.
I like Tim and Eric a lot, actually. They're
Do you? Yeah, it's that sort of, they call it anti-humor, and I sometimes I'm more impressed by the technical grace of what they do with their show, with the editing and the weirdness of it, but I don't really find it that funny. But I will say that I saw the $1 Billion Movie, and there were some parts in that film that I was laughing my ass off because it was just incredibly stupid.
They're really funny.
There's a scene with, I think Eric Warheim is the small, not the one with the glasses, the other one. There's implied pedophilia in that movie, and I fucking laughed so hard. It's just like he was just trying to be nice to this young boy, but it's just so disturbing. It was fucking hilarious. Anyway, the reason why I say it's Adult Swim style humor, it seems like this is a film that has one joke but stretches it to an hour and 24 minutes. And not that it's a bad joke that it's stretched. It's just that it feels like the budget of an Adult Swim show, but the cameras look really well. You can tell this was shot with like DSLRs, or at least I could.
Right.
And you can tell this is a very low budget affair, but they spent the money wisely on a practical effect that's in the film.
Yeah, I love the way Milo looks.
But Bad Milo is essentially this film that came out in 2003. I remember hearing about it like...
13.
Sorry?
2013.
What did I say?
3, you fuck.
Oh, okay. Wow, so I really went back in time. There's probably a movie called Rad Milo about a kid that skateboards. But Bad Milo is a film that I remember hearing about on like just entertainment websites and seeing posters for it. And I thought that the general joke was this guy has some sort of killer hemorrhoid or something that jumps out of people in his lower intestine. And that's essentially what the movie is. And it is a comedy with some gore horror elements in it. Mostly the last 10 minutes of the film is more like an out-and-out crazy horror film. But you always wanted to see this. Why? What was it about this particular...
I love poop humor.
In this film...
I'm very immature.
I do love poop humor too, because I was watching the first half of this film at the gym today, running, and every time Ken Marino's character went to take a shit, I had to hide the phone from people because I didn't want them to think I was watching something weird. It's also funny when I try to watch, I like old school anime as well, like from the 80s. So I'm trying to, and you know those Japanese with their cartoons, they, of course it's like a regular, I'm watching...
Tentacle.
Yeah, well, I wasn't lucky enough to watch that stuff, but I was watching something called Dirty Pair, which is like sci-fi cyberpunk, like girls fighting robots and shit. Of course, for some reason, they always have to have a shot of a girl's tits hanging out, or Bubblegum Crisis with girl's tits. And I'm like, oh shit! So I have to like put the camera, the fucking phone down, so people aren't thinking I'm watching like Japanese pedophilia.
Everyone at your gym probably thinks you're so fucking weird.
That's probably true. Ken Marino, who's the lead in this film, is also why I brought up Adult Swim comedy. Is the star of one of the stars of Children's Hospital, which is sort of a play off of General Hospital, I assume, and that's an Adult Swim show. And it's very weird, deadpan humor. And this film is also produced by, I believe, what are their names? These two guys that do a lot of indie features. Keep talking. We'll talk about why you picked the film.
I'm gonna just talk. I'm gonna say words. I'm saying words right now.
Okay, everyone. So it was produced by Jay Duplass and Mark Duplass. These guys are two guys that are like movie making machines. They're in, if you've seen any indie film within the last 2 or 4 years, they've been in it. They're also a part of the show The League. The Duplass brothers are guys that literally say, if you have $100, you can pretty much make a film. They're sort of like almost like a cheaper version of the guys that do the those what are those haunted movies that we watch? So I can't believe I always forget the Conjuring and stuff. You know how The Conjuring?
Oh.
And that's those sort of films that are made for $3 million. These guys do it for even cheaper, but they're pretty prolific in what they are able to get out there.
If they did Bad Milo for less than $3 million, I'm actually quite impressed.
I'd certainly say that this is. I'd rather watch this film than any of the other Duplass movies films. But a lot of their movies are sort of mumblecore. They're kind of kings of mumblecore. Mumblecore are like characters just talking to each other, which this film could, at a glance, have, because every time I could say when I was watching this film, basically the setup is this character. Who's the main character?
Duncan. And he is the guy that has Milo living in his butt.
Duncan is
his wife,
this
Sarah.
Yeah, Duncan is this guy who is a general sort of. He's like a salaryman. That's like a Japanese term, but a guy who works at some sort of investing firm. He works for an asshole boss played by Patrick Warburton, who is what's his name on Seinfeld? Who was he on Seinfeld?
Oh, he's actually Joe on Family Guy and The Tick.
Right, but he's way more famous for Seinfeld.
Really?
Anyway, yes, he was Elaine's boyfriend. Oh, I can't think of the stupid name that his character was playing in Seinfeld. Anyway, that's crazy. Although I guess newer kids who know of his name would be.
They probably don't even know who The Tick is, but Joe from Family Guy.
You know they're bringing The Tick back, right, as a new show?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's going to be live action, but I don't know who they're going to have. Who they're going to play The Tick. It would make sense if it was him again, but I guess not. I don't know. The Tick was always something that I was always like, I wanted to like, but I couldn't get into. I don't know why that is. Anyway, good. Very good. Whatever I say is fascinating on this show. So Duncan is this guy who works for this firm, and he is. He has a lot of stomach problems since the beginning of time, I assume. He's married to Gillian Jacobs, who is an actress I actually like, but I've never watched.
Really hot.
Yeah, she's very pretty. I've never watched anything she's in, really. She was in a part of this NBC show called Community. That's probably the most famous role that she's had. She was on that show with this other girl named Brie Larson. They're very, very beautiful-looking girls, and they have good comic timing. And I've heard interviews with her before when I thought she was pretty. She's actually a cool chick. I think Danny would try to marry this woman. But then again, Danny would try to marry any woman.
I would, and you know what? I'd be like, listen, I don't have a demon in my butt. And she'd be like, oh, you're great.
Anyway, he played David. Patrick Warburton played David Putty on Seinfeld. Anyway, so Duncan is married to Sarah, who is played by Gillian Jacobs. His boss, Patrick Warburton, is sort of this asshole. And the sort of vibe that I wanted to get from this film, but I think I can't really get from most horror comedies, is this is more comedy than comedy horror.
Right, yeah, it's definitely more of a comedy.
The only horror comedy, honestly, and maybe it might have been a defining moment in when I watched horror comedy as a youth, was Idle Hands.
Who's the guy that said he created horror comedy?
Oh, that was the guy who created Scream Queens and American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy. Yes, him.
What a douche.
He said he created a new genre. I read that third hand, so I'm not sure. I read that somewhere, and I was like, I created a new I created a new genre called horror comedy. It's like, is that like... Anyway, although I do like Scream Queens and I do like American Horror Story, but American Horror Story is not very funny.
Yeah, but he didn't create it. It's existed forever. Yeah, but, Ryan Murphy claims to have invented the genre of horror comedy.
Did you... That was a funny... Yeah, whatever. Anyway, did you ever see Idle Hands, the one with Devon Sawa, and it had Scott...
many years ago.
Yeah, it was... I saw that movie in the theaters. I love that movie. Every time I see the lead singer of The Offspring come up on stage and gets his head, like, scalped, it's one of the greatest films ever. And that's, like, really the only real horror movie. They say stuff like An American Werewolf in London is, like, horror comedy, but I could see parts of it being funny, but not the whole film being, like,
yeah, it's not really, comedy. Like, an out-and-out comedy.
But then again, if that film, I guess if you look at it from the English sensibilities, maybe they thought that was hilarious, because I think it's more dry humor, English humor.
He really did say it. We hope to create a whole new genre, comedy horror. He really said that.
All right, well, Ryan Murphy did it. He created a new genre. So Ken Marino's character, how would you describe Ken Marino's character in this film?
Is that Duncan? Yeah, he is a nice guy who's a pushover, and he's basically like Jim Carrey from Me, Myself, and Irene or something.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And what happens is that his boss is putting him in a new position where he has to fire people, and basically the whole thing is just stressing him out, which is giving him uncontrollable pains in his bowels. And what we find out, because he does go to the doctor at the beginning, that guy, I've seen that actor everywhere, I forget the name of that actor. Toby Huss, we saw him also in another movie recently. We saw him in The Invitation. He was the crazy cult leader. And
you're right.
And the doctor tells him, you got to have a stress-free life. But what happens is his boss gives him the job of firing people, which obviously raises stress. Duncan has issues with his father, who is a sort of a hippie that we never find out.
I loved his father's character. He's so annoying.
Yeah, his father...
I wanted to kill him. It makes perfect sense.
His father is played by awesome actor. What the hell is his name? He's in everything. He was the boss in News Radio. He was in Office Space playing Milton. He's like totally in everything. He's such a good actor. He's sort of like Stephen Root. Stephen Root, if you've ever seen him before, he's been in basically everything. He's a great actor. So basically the whole joke is that whenever Duncan gets stressed out, his bowels release this creature that looks like the size of a gremlin, but it's actually very well designed. It's really good designed character and puppeteered. It's really good. When I saw the poster, I was like, "Oh, that's a shitty looking design." And then when I saw the film, I was like, "They did it really well," because he has like those.
He's great. I love him.
Yeah, and he's like a really cute little character, and his eyes blink with, I think it's digital effects that they blink his eyes. Because it's too perfect, those eyes blinking. But he's a really cute character, almost to the point towards the end of the film when what happens, later, when bad shit happens.
Yeah, you feel bad for him.
I did, because that shows you, apparently what they say about humans is that why babies have big eyes and, big heads, is that that's supposed to make you have some sort of parenting, some deep down sort of parenting urge, like whenever you see a creature like that. Yeah, that's why, people like dogs with big eyes and stuff like that. Apparently, but they did it. It looks like a little, like a little kind of mutant baby. It sort of looks like a better version of that little asshole dinosaur from the show Dinosaurs. The pink one.
Oh, the baby.
Not the mama. Yeah, I hate that character. But this one, I love the design of the Milo character and the way he's puppeteered and played around with. And they do good. Obviously, they did CG effects where there were probably 2 puppeteers working him, and they just erased them from the screen whenever he's standing and stuff. But that also could just be whatever wires and stuff.
I heard that babies' cries are perfectly designed to make you feel panicky and irritated because it makes you want to take care of them.
That's total human emotion. Total human evolution. Isn't that scary? That's totally frightening, and we have no control over it. That's just how it is. But also, there is gore and violence in the film. What did you think about the gore aspects? Like myself, when they first kill his roommate QB, sort of.
Oh,
whatever,
I hated that
QB.
guy. I was so happy when he died.
It's some of the worst blood digital effects. I hate blood digital effects. I know you do too. And like he dies, and it's like the worst special effects of blood hitting the wall. What did you think of the gore in the film?
When it was there, it was pretty good. Like when he cuts off his arms and stuff, like it looked pretty messy.
When he bites that doctor's dick off, that was pretty awesome.
That was fun, yeah. It was all fun. Like it was funny gore.
I don't know why I was the only one that had like a flashback with that because there's this sort of a running.
What
gag
did you bite someone's dick?
No,
off?
I did not. This doctor, who's a fertility doctor, because apparently Duncan's mother got wind of him and his wife having problems conceiving. And so anyway,
do you know that doctor was the voice of Milo?
Oh, really good, cool. He's I thought he was from something else, but he's a pretty funny guy because he's basically that was a funny sequence. It seems like this film has like bizarre humor, like more character humor than it is centered on the horror of the film because you're just like laughing at Duncan. Like all the stuff that happens in the film could have just been a regular.
It's so stressful for him.
Yeah, it could have been like a comedy film without Milo in it, but thankfully it did have Milo in it because I was like, oh god, whenever they have Milo on screen, I was sort of like, all right, let's go. But I was laughing, so it's not total loss. But there's a scene where the doctor is like performing oral sex on some Asian woman, like next to a dumpster, I guess out of a club. And then he was like, he wants her to reciprocate. And she goes, no, I don't do that. And I was like, wow, that's happened before to me. It's just like, has it ever happened to you where you like, listen, I have no problem doing that. I love doing that, going down on a girl. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, whatever, 1, 2. And then they're like, oh, no, I don't like to do that really. Isn't that like...
That's not fair.
It's not fair. Let me mansplain this to you, people. Anyway.
Yes, mansplain it.
But anyway, nothing. She got away. She got head and then she left, so good for her. Anyway, so I liked the film. I thought it was good, but I wish there was almost more stuff. Like I almost pictured that I could have guessed that the father had the same sort of affliction as him, and I was right. I was like, oh yeah, I guess it was.
I was actually completely surprised by it.
Yeah, because I figured for some reason I thought of the movie the Incredible Hulk or the Hulk with Ang Lee's one where the Hulk fights his dad and his father turns into a super mutant at the end. And then I was like, yeah, they actually did the same shit here where he has a problem with his father. And the film sort of touches on, father problems, but it's mostly like that's what the main stress of Duncan's life is.
His whole interaction with the dad where he's like, my condescending pothead dad.
Yeah, and he's just like totally disregarding his son's feelings because he himself has the same affliction of having a creature up his ass. But so I gotta say,
not to get angry, yeah.
To me, the funniest character in the film is played by Peter Stormare. Peter Stormare plays Highsmith, the
I loved him.
Hypnotist psychologist that Duncan
I thought
is sent
that
to.
He looks so much like the guy from Kill List, actually.
Oh, the partner?
Yeah, I actually thought it was him at first.
Peter Stormare has been in everything as well. He played the devil in what did he do? Constantine. And he was also the silent guy in Fargo. You never saw Fargo, right?
I never saw Fargo. Who is he in Big Lebowski? I'm looking at the singer.
He played one of those asshole. I think were they Swedish? Remember, I got in trouble by Anders Gorason about Swedish and Danish people.
Well, you wrote the wrong country. That'd be like if they were like, Canadian film, like, and it's an American film.
Yeah, I wasn't like paying attention to anything that I was. I was like, yes.
I thought you were joking. Actually,
well, now they know. But no, he plays. I think he plays one of the. I don't know what the ethnicity of the guys are, but the kidnappers. And he's like, "You gave me money, asshole!" And he's like talking in this funny accent. It's like, well, not funny accent, I guess, if you're from that country. But he basically plays really, really good Eurotrash, like evil guys and stuff.
Right.
And he was like in a couple of pretty famous like commercials, but he's like a really cool fucking actor. He was in The Lost World. Yeah, you're right. He was in, I didn't see 22 Jump Street, but he was in that. He's been in a lot of movies, and once you see him and everything, he's very good. And he's sort of like a, like you can watch Willem Dafoe and everything. Although Willem Dafoe is in his own like stratosphere. Like Willem Dafoe can never fuck up, and I've never seen Peter Stormare fuck up. Yeah, I've never seen Peter Stormare fuck up either. So I think they're both that sort of actor that's in everything, and you're like, shit, this is good, just because he's in it.
Yeah, he might have been my favorite character, maybe.
He's very funny because you can tell that he's an actual. There's one of those rare things where a stage actor, like you can tell he's a real actor, but he can play funny as well because he's not overdoing it. Like some actors will be like, oh, I gotta act funny, and then they act like stupid. So then they it's totally he throws you out of the film. But he's very funny that he's able to just do this film, and it's funny because he's like he's playing it like realistically. You can tell like when I watch his character, I'm like, yeah, I believe this guy believes his own horse shit. You know what I mean? And I gotta say, the main guy, Ken Marino, is very good. Like he's very believable. And
he's a great actor.
He's a very good actor. Like, there's a part where he's choking up and crying, and you're like, oh, fuck, I believe this character, And he's been around for a long time. He's been acting in tons of things, but he plays mostly, like, sort of, the second banana type of character. But he certainly should get a lot more work. And I think the issue is like, this guy...
At first I was thinking he's kind of like a Michael Bluth type of guy, whatever the actor's name is. I can't think of it. Jason... something.
Bateman.
Yeah, I was thinking at first, like, oh, he's kind of like Jason Bateman feeling, but then, like, he starts doing his own thing, and, like, yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah, because, like, the guy who, Jason Bateman sort of plays the same guy and everything, where he's sort of like this Chandler-esque, but Jason Bateman is good. Like, I would rather watch Jason Bateman than I would watch a fucking Chandler movie. But, like, Jason Bateman is, like, a master of sarcasm, but I will say... very high recommendation to watch The Gift that has Jason Bateman in it, and he's not playing the usual sarcastic shithead. He's playing he's playing a real piece of shit in this, and he's very, very, very good in that film. Ken Marino sort of is like the thing is with Ken Marino, he's sort of like a handsome, generic-looking guy. Do you know what I mean? So it's maybe that's sort of off-putting. That you're like, oh, he's not going to be funny. He's just going to be this sort of one-note guy. But he's very good in the film, and he's funny. He has very good like comic timing and stuff like that. And he makes the character likable enough because there's a lot of people that could fuck this character up and be like, oh, who cares about this guy? I just want to see Milo. But he's interesting enough, an actor and character in the film that he holds the whole movie. And like I wasn't really expecting to talk this much about the film. It was sort of like really only like 21 minutes into this review, but I think we pretty much covered the base. That it is a film that is sort of, it could have gone bad with one joke.
And it's not as gross as like. You don't have to be. If you're grossed out by poop humor, you can still watch the movie. It's not.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be very graphic in the film, and they tend to keep most of that off screen. Like you never actually see the creature go up his ass. There's only one scene where he's
pooping, where it's like really. Oh, okay.
And there's only one real graphic ass scene when the doctor gets his face ripped off from his ass. So
yeah, and also like when Milo shakes off on him.
Yeah, and there's shit sauce all over him. How do those work though? Anyway, how do you work an outhouse? Like, do you like? Is there a plastic bag?
I think it's just like a hole.
Yeah, I know, but like, is that like what happens to that shit in there?
Well, sometimes they'll have like a septic tank. It goes into a tank, but other.
But
times
in an outhouse in the woods?
It's just a hole. Then it just goes.
Like, does it ferment? Like, what happens to it?
It probably
gotta be toxic.
Well, piss will absorb and.
Well, yeah, because piss is liquid, but shit, like it's got to take a while to break down. I mean, you can eventually turn shit into manure. You know what I mean?
The shit will dry out and shit eventually. Like,
you know what they're saying? That I saw some recent thing where they have these new age sort of, not new age, but these new styles of pooper. You know when your dog takes a shit at the dog park?
Pooper scoopers.
Not pooper scooper, but it's like this thing that you collect dog shit and you throw it in there, and then they going to use it for fertilizer for food. And it took me a long time to deal with cows taking shits, and that turns into my food, which is fine, but I cannot think of, for some reason I can't fathom or even want to entertain the idea of a dog shit. Yeah, because I mean shit is shit anyway, because it's just broken down food and stomach acid and stuff like that. But a dog shit?
Like, well, you got to picture what's in the shit, because like cow shit I don't have a problem with because they're
cows
eating
eat grass. That's it.
Yeah. But like dogs eat like meat and their own poop and all kinds of stuff. It's horrible.
Eating all types of shit, like, that's horrible. Anyway, very good. I hope this has been
my dog killed a bird recently. Did I tell you that?
Oh, what happened? I think you did. What happened?
She's like a Basset Hound Shar Pei, so she's like basically this fat, wrinkly pig thing. Like, you would never think she'd be capable of this. And I was watching. I think I was talking to you maybe on the phone or somebody, and like she's like going at this thing behind the barbecue, and then she comes out with a fucking bird in her mouth and just drops it on the deck, and it was still alive, and I had to kill it with a brick because there was like no way it was gonna live, so I had to put it out of its misery. But it was like so upsetting. Like,
I think we might have brought that up on it. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah. What were there any problems that you had with the film?
No, I really liked it. It wasn't enough horror. It wasn't enough horror, maybe.
Yeah, I think it worked for what it was, but I think I think this is a film that could have been done in 20 minutes. Like, it felt like a.
It didn't feel long to me. You
okay. So? Yeah, I felt long because I was like the whole day like just watching it here and there. So maybe that's why it felt a little extended for me. But I thought it was good. I mean, it's a fun little short film, and it felt sort of, it didn't hurt. You know what I mean? It was good. Yeah. Kumali Nanjiani, I think his name is. I'm trying to get his name right. The guy who played
the boyfriend of the mom?
Yeah, it's funny because for a second I was like, "What's he doing in this movie?" And then I was like, "Oh, he's playing the mother's, I guess, either boyfriend or new husband or stepfather." Kumali.
And all the sex toys they had in
Kumali Nanjiani. That was a funny joke because the mother was like, "Oh, we have stuff clutter on," and we just see like a sex swing and all that shit. That was funny. Like, he's a funny character. But I think that they didn't use them enough for some reason. Like, I think there's obviously a lot of funny people in this film, but they didn't really use them. Like, Jillian Jacobs was sort of not used that much. She does have an emotional scene, but it's like I wanted to see more of her, just because I know of her outside of film, not personally, but I've heard interviews where she came off pretty cool. I was like, I wish they gave her more than just sort of like this girlfriend who's like all sad and shit. I liked her a lot, but that's because I'm coming in liking her. But I think they could have done a lot more, especially with the boyfriend and the mother. But it kind of seems like they were. I like
that they kept it short. Duncan. Like, it was just cool little highlighted funny.
Yeah, thing. It's essentially if you like weird sort of Adult Swim material. Like, there's only 3 things I'm Adult Swim that I really like, which is Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. This is my 3 suggestions if you want to see Adult Swim where it's not bizarre, sort of like, oh, I have to be too cool to get this humor, or I have to.
It's like so random humor. Like,
I'll give you four shows. Okay, number 1, which will be Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, which is about a temp who works in hell, and it's like Satan and all that shit. It's very fucking good. I love that show. Like, it's very funny. I think Danny. You've
shown me a few clips.
Yeah,
of it.
It's funny. It's a really bizarre show, and I think it's up here. If you like this movie, you'd like that. Black Jesus, which is essentially Jesus Christ comes back to Earth, but he's a black guy.
I saw a lot of posters for that, actually.
Yeah, it's essentially like Friday. If Friday was made into a TV show. You remember Friday with Ice Cube and what's his name? Yeah. Like, they actually did do a Friday TV show, a cartoon show, and it had to be the worst garbage ever made in animation of all time. Wow. There's a film. What is it? There's an Adult Swim show that's making fun of Walker, Texas Ranger. And
is that the Eagle one?
Yes. Oh, yeah, my God, that show is funny.
The guy that's in Groundhog Day? I can't think of it, yeah.
Yeah, Chris something or other. I can't think of the name of the show, but that's great, and I already forgot what and the other one was Kids, shit. Not Kids Show. It was called
Eagle Heart. Chris Elliott.
Eagle Heart is fucking phenomenal. And the 3rd season, like the last season that they had, is one of the most amazing seasons I've ever seen of any TV show. Like, it's total top recommendation. And the other one would be Wonder Chosen, which is sort of like a bizarre Sesame Street show. Like, it's brilliant. Like, those 4 shows, like, that's my type of humor. And I think Danny would appreciate it, but Danny's too cool. And anyway,
I'm not too cool. What does that mean?
But if you like Adult Swim humor, but not the really bizarre, weird sort of too cool for the room humor, I think you'd like this. What do you think?
I think that anybody should watch this. You don't have to be in the horror to watch it.
Yeah,
like, it's just a comedy. It's funny. It's a comedy.
It's fun, but it's not like grotesque. There is obviously the most grotesque scene is the guy getting his dick bitten off. Like, if we didn't actually see that guy's dick get bitten off, I think it would almost be rather graphicless. You know what I mean? It's not very graphic, like violent wise. But that's like they spent their. I think they got their R rating just because of that shot. Like, I think this probably would have got a hard PG-13. just for that in language. But that's the real like money shot, I guess, for the film. That's I bet you if they had put something like that was the one that if they didn't left that in, they would have got an NC-17 because.
And I love that guy is the one who does the voice of Milo too.
Yeah, I liked it. I'd give it a. I was gonna say a 6, but it's not. It's
a 6?
Yeah, I'll give it a 6. Well, because we gotta rate it accordingly. It was good. I mean, it's nothing. What do you want me to do? I'm not gonna fucking lie. Okay, I'll lie for Danny. I'll give it a 7. A 7 out of 10.
No, give it a 6. Give it a 6.
Giving oral to a nice Asian woman who doesn't reciprocate in the alleyway.
Why would you give oral to a prostitute?
Was that a prostitute? No, I think he had her number. She said, "I'll call you." So I don't think she was a prostitute. Well, you never know. You could get a prostitute's number.
Yeah, you could get a prostitute's number.
Yeah, but a prostitute would blow you, of course. No, a prostitute would suck your dick.
Oh, that's true. Well, I guess it was just the fact that they were doing it in a creepy alley near a dumpster.
That's true. That's true. You never done that before?
No. I'm gonna give this an 8.
Wow.
Out of 10 because I like it.
Very good.
I didn't say my rating. 8 out of 10. Finding out that your dad has been disconnected from you because he has an old shriveled up demon living in his butt as well, and then your demon stabs his demon.
Very good. And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Magnetic field. Magnetic field.
The horror deconstruction.